Hello and welcome along to the Panto podcast. Just a quick little thank you for all your likes and obviously your lovely comments as well. They are read and they mean so much as well. Don't forget we are on Instagram. We're also on Twitter as well, at Panto Podcast. Please give us a follow, give us a like as well, and say hello if you're a new listener. This week, my guest is Lloyd Warbey. Probably best known recently for Art Attack, the host of the huge global Disney TV programme now. We chat about what life was like on tour with Joseph and his amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, his love of the character Peter Pan, and also about his craft workshops. We also talk just a little bit about pantomime, of course, and the many that he's actually done up and down the country. I'd also like to apologise as well for the quality of the recording this week. It was done in a noisy dressing room whilst he was on tour, so please bear with, and I think you'll still be able to enjoy this week's Panto podcast. Today my guest for the Panto podcast is Lloyd Warbey. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Not bad.
Good. Well, thank you so much for taking part in the podcast.
Yeah, looking forward to this.
So, what was your first introduction to theatre?
Well, from a very young age, I remember my mum telling me about, I was always very energetic as a child, and she used to put programmes on the telly and I was dancing away, and I think the first thing I ever got to saw was Tom Thumb, and that was at the Queen's Theatre, Hornchurch. I'm an Essex lad from Hornchurch, Romford, so that was the first thing I remember seeing, and I think afterwards my mum knew straight away that's something that I wanted to do, and then from there onwards that's where my career sort of started as a child and then got into doing it professionally as an adult.
How did that progress then?
Yeah, so I was very fortunate with my local theatre, the Queen's Theatre, and they had a youth theatre. But going before that, I was in Old Mother Hubbard, which was their first panto. It was a massive big thing that I did. I think I was 7, and it was just an amazing experience just to learn so much from the cast. And it was one of those shows where it was Old Mother Hubbard and the Enchanted Lake, and they had literally a lake on stage. Like, they floated it from the dock at the back and it had water on. They don't do that kind of thing anymore. It was absolutely amazing, and I think that just started off the love for theatre. And then ever since then, I did panto every year. I'm a Christmas baby, so my birthday's in December. So yeah, and every Christmas I've always celebrated my birthday working, doing panto, and then part of the youth theatre at the Queen's Theatre, doing lots of their in-house shows. I was very lucky to be part of that with the in-cast, the in-house theatre cast, and yeah, getting involved with them. And then went to drama school. I always knew I wanted to go to drama school. That was my passion, my goal, and it's just been constant really. So I've never really had a gap from it, and that's all I've ever done, theatre and acting. And later in my life I've enjoyed doing a bit more TV and doing other things as well, so it's all good, it's exciting.
What about then Backstage? You said you were sort of quite enthralled by that. Did you take part in anything else apart from the acting?
Yeah, for me, I've always had an interest behind stage as well, thinking about how things are done, the magic of theatre, and just seeing, how does that come out the trapdoor? And I was one of those kids, Marina Calderoni, who was the artistic director then, she just called me the devil child. And I only recently done a job with her recently, and she was like, yep, you were the devil child. But I think it's because I was so interested. They loved me, and I just wanted to know everything that was going on. So yeah, it was great. I got to learn lots of things behind the scenes.
And what was that first role in Old Mother Hubbard?
Going back, so I would have been just one of the babes, one of the kids. I think I was like a slave. I remember the big beetle, whatever it was, the big beetle character would be the evil demon, and he'd cut my hand off, and I remember I had a fake hand and it'd fall off. I still remember that. What else do we... they had the UV scene, which not many pantos do anymore, where the kids always have, that was their moment. They had the UV moment, and we had all these big UV glow in the... It was just the magic, and I was like, I'm creating the magic. It was just so cool.
Were Mum and Dad very supportive?
Absolutely, yeah. They've never had to push me, and I think you can tell I'm very forward with what I want to do and what I enjoy doing. So they've just been very supportive always, and they're very proud. Bless them, I love them.
So what sort of thing then were you watching as a child?
Well, going back when I was really young, I can't really remember a lot because I was always doing a lot of theatre and I was always out, so I didn't watch a lot of telly as a young age. I was probably more on the street creating things and drawing and making things. I remember my mum and dad got me this recorder that recorded in black and white, but it was like the Home Alone camera that recorded funny voices, but you can also film as well. And I remember making this lion that plodded along and had plasticine, and I made it poo and it went bop, 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 bop. I'm trying to make animation, and this is at such a young age as well, and I just always had that interest. But as I got older, I think when I come home from school, one of the big shows that was interesting to me would have been Art Attack, would have also been Smart, like the creative shows. I'm just trying to think, around the clock, I think that's another one. Yeah, so really like more interesting programmes. I didn't watch much cartoons, I don't think. I just enjoyed live action and stuff like that.
What about comedy?
Yeah, comedy. Obviously, I must have watched some stuff. I'm trying to think, really. Yeah, you've caught me out there. I can't really think of a...
You're the first one.
Yeah. I'm just thinking of like, what would have I watched? I watched a lot of Nickelodeon as well, so I know there was a lot of stuff on them. They used to have the live hosts, and they were always doing like the gunge and the games, so things like that, live theatre, and like watching it on telly. And I remember you could go into London and they had the Nickelodeon studios, and you could put your face on the screen behind, and I'd just be like, yeah, get me on the telly. Yeah, did it. I think I even did a loads of like kids shows on for the BBC when I was little, like as a contestant trying to get on. I did an Ant and Dec show and trying to get on there as a kid. And as I got older, I learned, like, don't do too many of those kind of things. But, I just wanted to be involved in everything. And, comedy is I've only just got more into the comedy in the last, 5 or 6 years, where I've been given some opportunities to really play the comic at Panto and things. And, I'm not a comic where I can write loads of text, but if you give me a good script, I can deliver comedy. I've got that natural, energy that I can create on stage with the text. So, I hope that answers a bit of the question.
What about then when it was actually your first sort of speaking role, when you stepped up from the Babes?
I think, what did I do? I'm trying to think. It would have been part of the youth theatre, and as a professional production, I think it was Our Day Out, and we had, and that was working with Bob Carton, at the Queen's Theatre again, because obviously it's a local theatre to me, and I was very fortunate. And we had real animals on stage, so kids and teenagers, kids and professional actors. It was just brilliant, and you got to learn so much in that one experience. So I did a lot. I did a lot of community theatre as well. So I was a big part of Caroline Bath was the community theatre. Worked with the youth theatre, and we got to be in a lot of those shows. So mixture of community theatre and also doing a young member of the local community being in an adult show with the Queen's Theatre Cut to the Chase, I think it was called then.
And what about people taking you under their wing?
So I was trying to think that there was a few. I'm trying to think of some names, because there was definitely a few people that really inspired me when I was younger, because the Queen's Theatre Hornchurch had their Cut to the Chase team, and they use the same actors over and over. So there's so many people that I can think, and I'm still friends with now, as well, which is nice. That
Workshop children, this is your call to the stage.
Little announcement.
Please. Workshop children, your call to the stage, please.
Wait for that. There's lots of people that I can think of. That I'm friends with them now, and they're people that really inspired me when I was younger, and now I'm doing it as a profession. And even one of the guys, Georgina Field, she's a great friend. She's an actor muso, and I've been in 4 shows with her since. But we used to do that when we was younger, and she was one of the adult cast, and I was a youth. And now I'm actually in shows with her as well. So it's lovely doing that. No big names like when I was doing the Panto when I was a kid. But only commercial Panto came a bit later in my life. I was more in-house, old school traditional Panto in a rep kind of environment.
Do you think that's more because of the TV work that you got into more mainstream?
Yeah, absolutely, because I would have probably carried on. I've never actually done Panto at the Queen's as a professional after leaving drama school. Actually, no, I played the cow, so I have done it. Played the cow at the Queen's. And then I was given the opportunity after doing the TV show, doing Art Attack. I was very lucky. to be given some opportunities, and that's where I started playing like principal roles. And someone was like, "Oh, you're quite energetic on stage. Have you thought of playing the comic?" I was like, "Well, I don't really write comedy, so I'm not sure if that's my forte," but they gave me some pieces, and then from there I then got comic after each year, and then the last 3 years I've been doing it for Paul Holman, and that's been great fun. And literally only in the last 2 years I've had the opportunity to go, "Oh, can I try this? Can I try that?" So like last year I did the balloon gag, the big giant massive balloon that you put on your head. So I've got to be more creative. So I'm starting a journey now in my adult life as an actor. So it's really exciting. I'm enjoying playing the comic. Obviously this show, Peter Pan, I don't get to be the comic. We've got lots of good comics in the show. So I get to go back to a cheeky Peter Pan, I'd say it is.
That's your Peter Pan, then you describe as cheeky.
Yeah, I think he's cheeky. Yeah, just doesn't want to grow up, want to have fun, and just wants to enjoy it.
Really, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Like anyone, it's great.
Did you read much as a child?
Do you know what? I didn't. No, I'm actually dyslexic, but I didn't find out I was dyslexic till halfway through drama school. Someone just said to me, "Do you think you might be dyslexic?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know." And so they sent me for tests, and I found out I was. And then looking back, you go, "Oh, right, makes so much sense." Didn't do much reading at school. I always was cheeky or naughty to like cover up my mistakes if I didn't get anything. Same with working with directors in theatre. That's why they call me the devil child. I think sometimes I might have not understood the direction or what I was supposed to do from the piece, so I'd try and be the clown and do something slightly different, and I'd just get away with it, I think. But yeah, so I didn't do much reading when I was younger. I still don't do much now, to be fair. I really should, but my reading's got much better, and I do try and push myself to read as much as possible, but it's really hard when you're travelling around.
What about the scripts then? Does that create a problem?
Yeah, do you know what? It's not. I've got really good, and I think with dyslexia it's different for every single person. It's not actually like everything I've done in my life is something. If someone turned around and said at school, "You've got dyslexia, you won't be able to do this, and this," and I've done all of them. So like with Art Attack, it's auto cue. I didn't like a dyslexic person shouldn't be able to use auto cue. And like what we do, we film a lot. We film like an episode a day, and the scripts are like massive, and you have to be 100% on script. So you can't learn it. So you have to read it, and at the same time you have to be doing the crafts as well. So you're looking down, looking up, and I've just trained myself to actually be better, and it's about trying and making sure you just push yourself. So yeah, I've got much better with my reading.
That's great.
Yeah.
How then did Art Attack come about for you?
Well, I've always wanted to have or to be in a children's TV show. From a young age, people was like, "Oh, you'd be good on like a kids show." And even when I was just before going to drama school, people said, "Oh yeah, you'd be good at that." And I'd always knew that's what I'd like to do. So I went to drama school. I went to East 15, did 3 years there. As soon as I left, I was very fortunate. I got straight into a theatre job. Then I went straight into Joseph for Bill Kenwright, did 2 years in that, doing a musical. I thought I'd never get in a musical, and I got in that, and it was just like, right, all these goals that I wanted to achieve, I'm achieving. So I was like, right, one of my big goals is to be in a children's show. And then I just started going, right, so what can I do? So I started making show reels, I started writing things, little pieces, filming them on my mum's roof of her garden, like just trying to get things done. I just got the show reels out there, and so a long story short, basically Disney found my show reel online and discovered me in that way, and I went through like loads and loads of rounds of auditions. I thought I'd never get it, and like literally it took 10 years to actually get that opportunity to be in Art Attack. So like prior 10 years I've been trying. I'd got auditions at the BBC for like CBBC, got down to like finals, got screen tests, just didn't get it. But it didn't stop me, and I kept fighting, and then while I was doing lots of theatre, lots of family theatre actually, so like Jungle Book, Joseph, so stuff that's still like a connection to getting into children's TV. I thought if I do stuff like that, that's going to tick a lot of boxes. And then yeah, I was doing BFG at the Derby Playhouse, and then the audition came about, and I was like, whoa, I've got an audition. I went to like 3 or 4 rounds. They asked me to do some makes, and they had all the prep stuff for me, but I brought my own. I made it, and they were like, "Oh, you've made it." I was like, "Well, yeah, surely I've got to show that I can make art and do it." And that must have really helped me, and I went through quite a few rounds and then got the job, which is great.
You said there about, previous to that, about you were always sort of making stuff in the street, drawing and things like this.
Yeah.
Like, I can imagine you with the chalks and stuff like that. What are you like as an artist?
Yeah, I'm very creative. I like sculptures. I like making like bigger things. I like making or being creative and just not knowing what you can create. I used to do doodles, and you just doodle on a page until you can see an image, and then create the image and fill it in with shading and detail. So my favourite medium is pencil, really, but I also do, like, since doing Art Attack, it's encouraged me to do a lot more like models, a little bit bigger crafts, because what we do on Disney is very like hard to do, but it's inspiring and challenging. And I remember watching Neil Buchanan doing the same, going, I can't make that, and I'm sure everyone else goes, yeah, I can't make that, but it inspires you. And so I've made loads of different things. I like to be creative. I don't have a set medium really, but pencil is one of my favourites. But yeah, like painting, drawing. I'm very good at, if I see an image and you want me to draw it, I can probably match it and make it look identical. So that's a good little skill. So yeah, I've always been good at art, I think.
Do you still do it now?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So off the back of my TV show, I'm very lucky. I have a lot of interest to do workshops, and so I just saw a gap in the market, and I did create a company called Craft Shop Workshops, and we do workshops in shopping centres. So I've been the face of like kids clubs doing arts and crafts. So and we've just I'm an entrepreneur, so you'll see. I've also got another business with my partner, Yippee Do Events, and we do grottos, but we also do arts and crafts with that now. And we've just signed a deal over in Dubai, so we're going out to Dubai to do things. So yeah, I'm always being creative. So as soon as I finish this, I'm doing a project with the Salvation Army and the Scouts. We're making a big, I don't know if I'm supposed to say, but we are, and we're making a big art with some of the Scouts there for one of their new badges. So yeah, every day there's something I'm doing that's creative.
It sounds like you always want to be pleasing children.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think so. And I think I know that working in kids' theatre and stuff is magical, and like the response you get. We all know, like, the response you get from after theatre, it's just amazing. And it's like, I've got nieces and nephews myself, and they've just recently seen some of the shows while we've been on tour, and they just love it. And I'm like, I remember that as a kid, going, wow. And it doesn't. And nowadays, it's a tough time for young people. There's a lot of things going on, so it's a nice escape just to go and watch theatre. And if it's magical and can create something new, I think that's the great thing about theatre. So yeah. And I think my energy, like, I've done some straight theatre, I've been a bit more serious. Obviously, I'm a method trained actor, but I'm actually mainly doing more big roles, big characters. But I like to try and do the serious stuff. So I've done a bit of Shakespeare. I'm doing a BBC radio drama that comes out on Monday, Easter Monday. So I try and be varied with what I do. But yeah, a lot of my career has been in family theatre, not just for children but families as well. And I think that's the main thing, getting families to come and see a show. It doesn't happen that often, so if it happens once a year for that child in their family, where the family get together, just have a laugh, forget about what's going on, and it's an opportunity just to enjoy themselves as a family. I think that's magical. That's a great thing that theatre can do that. And I remember that as a kid, my parents taking me to see stuff, so it's just nice.
Would you liken yourself then to the Peter Pan?
Say that again.
Would you liken yourself to Peter Pan? The boy that didn't want to grow up?
Yeah, I suppose there is an element of that. Obviously I want to grow up because I want to earn some money. So yeah, but there's elements you can take from that, and you can go, oh yeah, it's like, you don't have to grow. Like, I don't drink tea and coffee. That's one of my things. I'm like, I don't want to be grown up. I don't want to drink coffee. It's too grown up. That's how I think. Do you know what I mean? That's one of my little things that I do, and I'm just like,
what's your drink then?
Water. Really boring. Try to be healthy and just water, really. I'm the fussiest person, I think.
Are you?
Yeah.
Well, I got you the mug.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Put your water in that.
Yeah, I'll put a tweet out, or I'll put an Instagram going, my Panto podcast. Yeah, I can put my water in that, so I can use that.
All the broken ones in my house have either plant pots, used as plant pots.
I like it, or knowing me, I'll use it as a pencil pot.
Excellent.
There we go. See, always go back to being the artist.
How did you deal with them, with the knockbacks?
Yeah, it's really hard. Like, I've had loads of knockbacks, and I think that's part of our industry. Like, that is it. You just have knockbacks. You go to an audition, you do it, you think you've done a good job, and you have done a good job. That's the thing. You've got to tell yourself you've done a good job. You're just not right. You might not be the right height. You might not be the right look. Like when we did Art Attack, like the last few rounds was the round of putting the red T-shirt on. And I was going, oh no, it's not going to match my skin type. What? I'm not going to get this job because the T-shirt don't fit me. But that's how ridiculous it can be sometimes. Like you can be really skilled at what you do, but it all could come down to a simple thing. Just it could be to do with your look, and that's the industry. So yeah, knockbacks. I've had lots, but I think it's pushed me. And like I always had my goals, and I had about 14 different goals with my previous agent. And literally, when I got Art Attack, I was very fortunate. That agent, I'm not with them now, she retired, but she went, we've achieved all the goals on that list, and I was just like, amazing. And I think that's just being ambitious and trying. Just don't give up. Don't rely on someone else to do the job for you. And I'm sure my agents always go, oh, it's Lloyd on the phone again. But that's how you've got to be. You've got to always be go-getting. You can't let someone else try and drive your career for you. You've got to drive it yourself.
Was it difficult trying to find an agent that would suit you?
At first, no. I was very lucky. I was doing Jungle Book, and I was very forward in them days. I don't think people were so forward. Like, if I'd go to a networking, I'd have a business card, I'd have like a CV with me, I'd have it all there. And then other people had bits of scrappy paper, go, oh, here's my number. I'd be like, here's my number. And it's on the card with my photo. So yeah, I've always been that sort of eager that I think the agents, when they saw me, they were just like, he wants this, he's driven, he's going to get what he wants, and he's going to push for it. And I've been very lucky. Like, don't get me wrong, you have ups and downs. Like, an actor's career is a roller coaster. I've had lots of highs, and also you have some lows where it is quiet, but you've just got to push yourself. And like one of my producers that I've worked with before, she's like, you've just got to stay in it. Even when it's the hardest time and it's not happening, just stay in it, because eventually that role will come. And it's the same now. Like, I do Art Attack, but obviously I want to do more. I want to do other things. And going back to you asking about finding the right agent, my new agent now, it is hard to find a new agent, because it's hard when you've achieved a lot of things and then you're being picky in what you want. Because I want the best of both worlds. I want to do children's TV, but I do want to do serious drama. I want to be, like, I've trained as a method actor, like, I can connect to emotion. Yes, I'm an energetic person when I walk into a room, so I have to be aware of that. And like I said, it is down to what you are. When you walk into that room, what they see you as is what they see you as when they're casting. So sometimes my bubbly character doesn't help me if I'm going for these more serious roles. But I'm quite ambitious, so I'm going to keep going for it and trying. So got to see what's out there. Like this thing I'm doing for the BBC drama, it's great. It's a radio play, and I get to play a younger character than myself. I probably never get casted on TV, but the character's got schizophrenia. He's a troubled character going through lots of drug issues. He's homeless, and it was really fun to find something totally different away from what I do a lot of the time throughout the rest of the year. So yeah, it's great.
Something you can tap into that isn't you.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And I think we all actors, you're always playing a role. Like, even when I perform, like, I'm playing a character, there's an element of me there. Even my presenting for Art Attack's a little bit different. I'm a presenter, but my energy on that show is very it's restricted in how I would play myself on TV, but we have rules to fit into, and we've got to try and create a character that works worldwide as well. So I have to be a bit more clipped with how I talk. I don't have my accent like I have now. So yeah, I've got to be more switched on. I think I answered the question.
When you were first picked then for art, how specific were they about the actual diction that you needed to use for a worldwide audience?
I think, it was like they're thinking, I have to think about my THs, being Essex. Like, they know I had an Essex accent. But yeah, when we started filming, we had to be really aware of that. Obviously, the magic of TV, you can pre-record lots of extra THs if you don't say it right. So yeah, I had to change the way I spoke a little bit. But the same when you go to drama school. they sort of strip you back a little bit, and that's part of drama school. They want you to strip back to really then build back up and make sure what you're doing is right. And it's the same with your voice. They want to strip your voice back and take it, but I never really lost my Cockney Essex accent. It's gone a little bit. I can push it a bit more if I needed to.
When you're back home with your friends.
Yeah. All right, how's it going? Yeah, I'm all good. That kind of thing.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Being the other side of the water, I'm from Kent, so it's very, every now and then an F comes out instead of a T.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just...
My worst is free. I go free. But obviously I have to go three. Stick your tongue, go three. But I've got much better at it now.
You said then about the research into different characters when you're doing serious acts.
Yeah.
What's the preparation like for you?
I suppose it's different for everybody. I try and connect to an emotion that I've maybe experienced myself. So sometimes you can't do that, but then you can tap into a time. If it's quite a serious character and it's emotional, then some people just can't connect to that. But I do feel I can, and I've had some times in my life where I've had some very sad moments, like deaths and people not being unwell. And I know that's not maybe the best way to go about it, but sometimes if you've felt that emotion, you can find that somewhere and then connect it to the character. And I think that's what I would like to do when I'm playing my characters when they're a bit more serious. I don't get that to do it often, but if I do, that's a way of finding that emotion, really finding it deep within, rather than just making something, because otherwise it's fake. It's got to be real. You've got to believe it. And you don't have to cry to show emotion. Some people like cry. It's, well, I'm crying because I'm sad. It's like, no, you don't have to cry. Sometimes you're so emotionless, like you can't cry. So it's getting that across. So you never know. You might get some more opportunities to try and use the other skills that I hopefully have got to use.
What about bringing that though to pantomime?
Yeah, I definitely do believe. I've got a lot of people that go to me, oh, you're doing panto, panto, and I'm like, actually, yeah. Why not believe to it? Like, if you see me when I'm on stage, regardless if I'm big or my character's like has a lot of energy, on stage I think I'm true to my performance. Like, I believe what I'm doing. I always think every time I do a show, it doesn't matter how many people are in that audience, I enjoy what I do. I really do. Like, regardless of what goes on behind the scenes, when I'm performing and I'm on stage, I want everyone out there to see the same performance. So I'm always switched on. Yeah, it's hard, 12 shows a week sometimes, but I think every show needs to be the same and needs to... Obviously, you can play around with comedy and stuff if you want to, but Peter Pan, you don't. It's quite strict. I've got the script, there's comedy, a lot of comedy in this show. I don't get to do the comedy aspect, so I'm enjoying just playing the cheeky Peter Pan that he is.
What about then for characters like a Buttons?
Absolutely, yeah, that's my dream role. That's one that I've never played. Never played Buttons, yeah. You never know, got this Christmas still to come, still talking with people, so that could be an option. But yeah, Buttons is the dream, I think, because when I was younger, that's one of the characters that I all remember seeing at a young age. When I go to see Panto, that's the one iconic character. And maybe I'm just not ready to be given that opportunity. I don't know. I play Silly Billies, I play all of that. I play a variety of the great comic characters in Panto, but yeah, Buttons is my dream. I played Dandini, did that. Didn't have the buttons in that one. Again, I tried to make him a cheeky Dandini. I'm getting there. But yeah, so Buttons is the dream role for Panto, and it's not happened yet. This
list then that you've got, which has got the tick boxes and things like this, I don't know if it's on paper or in your head.
Yeah.
What would you say it is now?
That's a hard thing. It is really hard, and it's a hard thing to talk about, because obviously I wrote a list, and I think everyone has their own goals and stuff in life, and I had things on there like musicals, and like, I am a singer. I've got to tell myself a time you ask me, I'll be like, no, I'm not a singer. But if you hear me sing, I can sing. I am a singer. I've done 2 musicals. So, I've done that. I'm in Panto. I do sing. I do that. So yeah, I ticked a lot of things on there that I thought wasn't possible, and Panto is a great opportunity. I've got that ticked off on there. The children's TV shows ticked off. Doing a tour. The only thing that isn't on there, and trying to create a new list now, is maybe creating a list that is really unachievable, and that's maybe the goals, just to make it. But hopefully, my mindset doesn't think it's not deep down. I know it will be achievable if I really try. But yeah, so I've just got to make that list a new list. And
what would be on it? Obviously,
I don't
Buttons
know.
would be.
Yeah, Buttons definitely is on there. I'd like to do a drama, like a TV drama. I know I've done radio drama, but I'd like to do a TV drama. And there's nothing against me saying I'd actually quite happy if it means I could start off doing a children's drama, because that's a good connection, a way in. Having done children's TV and done the family theatre, maybe that's a way in, and then move up. Sitcoms, obviously, like everyone goes, oh, you love to be in EastEnders, love to be in Coronation. Like, yeah, of course, a lot of people love to be in that. But now I've done a lot of things in my career, maybe something like that would be great, a great opportunity, a bit more of a steady kind of position and a role, if I was ever lucky enough to get auditioned. It's so hard. Do you know what I mean? I'm giving myself goals that are so far away, then they might not be achievable. It's just knowing the right people, getting in the right room for the auditions. It's not easy. It's really hard. It's hard out there.
A lot of it's luck.
Of course, yeah, there is. But you've got to remember, all those people that get that luck, they are very talented. You're talented to start off with. That's the given. It's then the luck that comes after. So you're given. So when you walk into the room in the audition, I think like the casting director wants you to get the job. Of course they do, otherwise they wouldn't have called you in. But it's whether you believe it and you are right for that part. So yeah, it's pushing yourself to get there. But yeah, it is luck. It's just being the right character as you walk in the room.
In your tours of Panto, then, any favourite places that you've been to?
Oh, right, I've got I'm thinking modern theatres would be the Lowry, but I haven't done that as Panto, sadly. That was on a UK tour, but that's one of my favourite modern theatres. And then older theatres, like here today at Newcastle, it's a beautiful theatre. I like that old architecture look of the original theatre, so I'd probably go with Brighton. Like the proper, I think, what's the one at Brighton? It's the Playhouse, I think. Maybe I can't be 100% sure. But the architecture there is just, it's beautiful. And like the little booths and stuff. What you imagine when you explain to someone about a theatre, that is what you imagine, that with the little lights, the little red chairs. I love it, yeah. That'd be they're my two favourites, I'd say.
Earlier on you said about the appearance in Joseph that you made. How did that come about?
So Joseph, that was right on after I come out of drama school, really. So I come out of drama school for had about a year where I was doing a few different jobs. My first job, I went to the Royal Opera House as an actor in one of the operas. Amazing job. So I did that, and then I did like a TIE as one of my other first jobs, and then literally auditioned for Joseph, had a few rounds for that, and then got that and went on tour. And it was a great opportunity because they'd just done the TV series for Looking for a Joseph, so there was a massive big hype for the series. So they had 3 or 4 of the boys from that show, and then they obviously cast the rest of the actors, and I managed to get a part in that. So I did end up doing just over 2 years for Bill Kenwright, 12 shows a week, and because it was busy, it sold out. Literally every show rammed, and it was such a great joy to play. And I played Judah, I played the Frenchman, so I got to have a nice little solo in there, Canaan Days. So yeah, I had lots of fun doing the Joseph tour. And also it was one of my first, actually it was my second tour after drama school, and that I got to learn a lot about different theatres and start ticking off places that I would have never got to go to. So yeah, it's good.
So straight from college to the
Royal Opera House, yeah. And then
somebody doesn't rate themselves, or as you said, you don't regard yourself really as a singer.
Yeah, I know. I did really well. I am a singer. I know I am. I've just got to be more confident with it. I think that's my problem. But everyone has their little thing where they don't feel as confident with certain things, and singing's one of my things. Yeah, I know I can sing, but sometimes I just shy away because there are amazing singers out there. So.
Does it have much toll on the voice?
Well, definitely when you're doing 12 shows a week. Even this, like Easter Panto, we're in new venues every day as well. So there's not much time to think. You just get on with the show. You're in a hotel every night. When you're on tour, like a UK #1 tour, you do actually get a new venue once a week, or you're in there for 2 weeks. So you get time to settle, get to know the area. So you can rest your voice, but a 2-hour show, some people don't realise the amount of energy and effort you put into a show for 2 hours. So yeah, it can be a toll, but we use Dr. Theatre and it gets us through it.
Do you get nerves at all?
Do you know what? I think you'd be wrong to say you don't, but yeah, you find a different way of handling with nerves. So yeah, when I was younger, probably had some sort of nerves, like a butterfly, but it's a nice feeling. It's like, oh, this is scary, but you do it. But I've done lots of pantos now and lots of theatre shows, and you just get a bit more confident with it. But there's always a moment when you're not sure. You do scare yourself. And after I did Art Attack, my first commercial panto, I was playing Aladdin, and I was like, Aladdin? Do you want to cast me as Aladdin, really? I was like, whoa, okay, and I did it, and maybe I wouldn't have cast myself as Aladdin, but I was really nervous because I felt like there was even more pressure. People were like, oh, he's off for Art Attack, he's only a TV, he's not got any background in theatre, and actually I had. So I wanted to prove myself and say, no, actually I am trained, I've worked really hard to get where I am. So yeah, I got nerves there, I suppose. Sometimes it does come along.
Do you ever read the reviews?
No, the good ones.
Are they filtered for you?
Yeah, probably. I'm sure they do filter them. But no, at the end of the day, it's one person's opinion, isn't it? As long as you feel happy, and that's going back to talking about auditions, as long as you feel happy after it, that's all you can do. That's all you can do, and as long as you feel you've done that. Sometimes you have off days, but as long as you still try, I think everyone will be happy with what you're doing.
So what else do you do then, apart from act and TV present and sing?
Yeah, I do a variety of different things. One of the big things I like to do when I'm working in theatre is raise money for charity. And that came about because after doing panto, I used to go and do a meet and greet. And then once a charity approached me and just said, oh, have you ever thought about doing a collection? If you're already coming out to say goodbye to the cast, would you hold a bucket? And that's where it went with that. So yeah, I try and help raise money. So not last year before, I was raising money for Lennox Cancer Fund for children, and I over 3 different jobs I raised just around £17,000 for them. So it was a great amount of money, and made such a difference. And then start of this year, I got approached by Mitchell's Miracles, another children's cancer fund charity, but this one is for let me get it right, it's neuroblastoma, I think it is, and that's for the it's a really rare disease, so it needs a lot more focus and a lot more attention, a lot more money involved there to try and help and support this. So I've been raising money for that during the Easter. I raised a little bit over Christmas when I was at the Brid Spa. We raised just over £1,000 there, and then Easter, because we're in new venues every day, we're raising a good amount of money for them. So yeah, I'm raising that as well. So that's another nice little thing to do, to fill my time and make sure I can support someone in a different way. We're on about £5,000 at the moment, so by the end of this I'm hoping for about £8-9 grand. Because we've only we're halfway through and already on £5,000. So if I can get another 5, it's 10 grand from them, and that will support them for a whole year, because it's such a small charity. So I don't think they're aware of that kind of money that I potentially could get from. I think they might be expecting £1,000 or something, but when I turn around and tell them, hopefully near to like 7 or 8, it'll be lovely for them. So I'm looking forward to trying and raise as much as I can.
And that's the charities that are approaching you?
Yeah. So like they ask you to go as patron. I'll do workshops with them as well. I'll try and just guarantee that throughout the year I'll do a few little workshops, and if we raise money from that I can give that money as well, doing arts and crafts. And this is the best way to do it, doing it in theatre, because after a show time is tough, but people can spare £1. It's like £1 makes no difference. If there's 500-600 people in every venue, every show, that's a lot of money, isn't it?
Sure is. Well, let's come to that part of the podcast where I'd like to ask you, please, your dream pantomime. So you can choose the venue, the production, you can choose your cast, alive or sadly deceased, and you can be in it or sitting down as a punter in the stalls.
Okay. Well, I think I'd have to put myself in it, just because I'm like that. But I was having to think, it's a really hard one. Venue-wise, I'll probably say Lowry, because it's such a big venue, and the producers would be quite happy. They'd fill it out with the lineup that I've got interested. Going to the panto would be Cinderella, because that is one of my dream roles.
Guess what role? Yeah.
No, it's not going to. I haven't put myself as Buttons, only because I've not played Buttons, so I don't feel worthy enough to put myself in that role yet.
Oh,
I know. So that I thought I'd shock you. Yeah, no, I haven't put myself in that role. I don't. As much as I think I would do an amazing job at playing Buttons, but having not done it, then maybe I don't think so. I've put Robin Williams. So Interesting, yeah. But I put myself as Dandini, having played
Can I need
Dandini.
the title, please, to bring
Right.
in the white gauze, the Neverland front cloth, and the star cloth, please.
Lovely. Yes.
Can I need the title, please, to bring the white gauze, the Neverland
Come on.
front cloth, and star cloth.
That's an edit.
Yeah. Yeah, so I've put myself as Dandini. So having played the part, I think I still bring a cheeky, and I think I work really well with him, and it'd be quite a good chemistry on stage. He'll bring the real comedy and I'll add to it. Now, Cinderella is going to be an interesting one. So I've gone for, wait for it, Britney Spears, but before she shaved her head. So you can place her where she is.
Yes.
So her Cinderella. Prince Charming would be a young Zac Efron. So yeah, going
I'm
with
just thinking about the ticket price.
absolutely. That's why I chose Lowry. Like, you can charge the prices. It's got enough seats there. This going big. I'm going right out there. This it's never probably ever happened. You've got the wicked stepmother would be Kathy Bates. Yeah, because she was such an inspiration. And when I watched her in Misery, I just love that film. So so she would be definitely the
Very dark side.
yeah. I think that works though in Panto. You've got to have a bit of depth, definitely. Ugly Sisters, a little bit stuck on that one still. I've gone with Angelica Houston, okay? So she's the Grand Witch from The Witches, and that's because that was one of my childhood films I loved. That and Willy Wonka were the films I watched over and over. And I can just imagine it. And now they're just they're making a new version of The Witches. I don't know who's playing the head witch this time, but yeah, she would be great. And then a partner as an ugly sister. I'm going really evil here, because it is a dark story, it is. I'm going with Bette Midler. Yeah. So yeah, this is a big cast.
It's also a very American cast.
It is actually. It is.
Do you think they'll get Panto?
Do you know what? Probably not. But if they did, it would be an amazing show. That's what the way I'm looking at it. Because you have got me on something I was really struggling thinking, and I've gone just crazy with it. Fairy Mother, Godmother.
Stage is set. Stage is set. Can we...
Thank you.
And sound and Alex go into preset, please.
Yeah. Fairy Godmother. Oh, goodness gracious.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Peter Pan Company, this is your half-hour call.
Yeah, I know.
Go, hey, look! Thank you.
Fairy Godmother. I've gone with either Cilla Black, okay, or Sue Pollard, or Barbara Windsor. Now, because it's quite a heavy schedule, they could rotate the parts and take in a few days here and there. I think that could work.
Projection doesn't seem to be playing.
Yes, it does.
Projection doesn't seem to be playing.
So yeah, I'd go with those three, and then they could rotate the parts. I think that would work. So yeah, Damn Denny, and then the Baron. Wait for it, Mr. Bean. Yeah. Wonderful, eh? I bet this is the weirdest one you've ever heard, and probably your listeners have ever heard. I've gone right out there. I've gone imaginary. So
It sounds absolutely brilliant. Well, it's your Panto.
yeah. Yeah.
The ticket prices
are going to be expensive. Probably higher than the Palladium.
Well, Lloyd, thank you so much for taking part in the Panto podcast.
No, thank you for having me.